Hello, hello. It's Jennifer McCollum here, and I am with Tanzania Bacon today. Hello, Tanzania.
Hello.
I'm so glad you're here. Tanzania is a life coach, and what she focuses on is helping solo moms balance life with kids after losing a spouse or a partner. Such valuable, important work, Tanzania.
Hi, I'm Tanzania. As you all know, I help solo moms balance life with kids after losing a spouse or a partner. How Built for Us was created is I actually lost my fiance, who was my kid's father, to a horrible death, and I was searching for a community for people who were like me, who could help me navigate life now as a solo mom. I searched for a long time and I came across my search was unsuccessful. And so I thought to myself after attending some parenting classes and talking to just some solo moms, I thought to myself, why not build something that will be there for this community? And so I set out on a journey to help parents who have lost a spouse manage life and learn how to rebuild their life while raising their children.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And, you know, I have known Tanzania for a while, and I have to say the work you are doing is so incredible. You turned, what was an awful, horrific situation into supporting others through your Built for Us business. And I should have mentioned at the beginning that your business is called Built for Us. And when I first met Tanzania, before we even get into our talk today, Tanzania, I'd love for you to just share your vision because I know that you support parents that are balancing, life with kids after losing their spouse, but you really have a bigger vision for Built for Us too, and that's really to create an entire community. Can we just take a minute because, like, take a minute and share with us that big vision because I think it really gives us some insight into who you are and how you lead with your heart and make such an impact. So, would you mind sharing it with us?
Sure. So, Built for Us initially will be a coaching company for parents, but eventually, Built for Us will be a family resource center that families can come and they can find wholeness, they can find healing. And so, what that consists of is that it consists of therapists, it consists of family group sessions. So, you'll have individualized sessions, group sessions, family sessions, and people will be able to rebuild their family the way that they have wanted to for years. It'll provide avenues where parents can provide safe space for their children. Children will be able to come and find community in other children. And so it'll have all types of resources from the government as well as resources from the community. I really do believe that it takes a village to raise children, and in that village, it consists of the different entities of life. So we have school, we have community, and then you have family. And so when we bridge the gap to those things, then we create a community and a family that is unbreakable and unshakable. So Built for Us it is a broader it is so much bigger than just coaching, but coaching is the first aspect because if we can mentor and coach people to live the life that they've always dreamed of even after tragedy, then they'll be able to be successful. Built for Us will be a resource center for families to come and be able to restructure and rebuild their lives the way that they would like.
Wow,
So
it
that'll be
gives me goosebumps every time you tell me what your big vision is. And I think it's important just to like share it, because now, if there's someone out there that's listening and you want to be a part of what Tanzania is building with Built for Us, like reach out to Tanzania. But
Yeah.
so, so that, I mean, it all fits together. But I know today, I wanted you to come on and I wanted you to talk about um, grief, and I wanted you to talk about some of the steps that you take solo moms through after they've lost their partner or spouse. And I wonder if we could just bring it back to, your life coaching, and just maybe share some information about grief for us. So let's start off with the stages of grief. Can we tackle that first?
Sure. So there are 5 stages that I take my parents through. The first is denial, and then we have anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So grief is something that has no specific certain way to go. Today I can be in denial, but tomorrow I can be depressed. Today I can be bargaining, but tomorrow I could be in a point where I'm accepting some of it. And so we go through these stages of grief, and I'm able to kind of help the parents figure out where they are, because in order to move forward, we first have to know where we are. And once we know where we are, then we can embrace where we are and walk through the grief process. And when I say walk through the grief process, I basically just mean when you feel angry, it's okay to feel angry. It is not okay to go out and lash out at people, but it is okay to feel angry and to learn how to navigate through that anger in a healthy manner, so that once you get through it, you don't have to repeat it because you went out and did something that was just awful, just because in that moment you were angry, because in the next moment, excuse me, you may be in a place of acceptance. We walk through those different stages, and I use the 5 stages to walk parents through, so they're able to figure out where they are, and then we're able to figure out how we can move forward, because grief has no today can be one thing, tomorrow can be another. And so it's just learning how to walk through those stages in a healthy manner, so that we can make healthy choices even in those stages of life.
Yeah, that's so important. And it sounds to me like you really meet your clients at what stage they are at, which is beautiful. And so tell me then, because your clientele are solo moms and they've got kids. How do they balance their life during this time when they are grieving?
Yeah, so one thing I had to learn was to allow space and grace. And so, what I mean by that is, while I'm grieving, I'm very intentional and I'm very upfront about my kids of what's going on and how we can manage this new life that we live without lashing out and being angry at each other. So allowing space and grace. So if that means today I tell my kids, okay, we're going to do this, but mommy's not really in a good space. So can I get about 15 minutes to myself so I can
Mm,
kind of just process my feelings and thoughts? And I know for me that happened because my kids were very young. So what I had to do, because they didn't understand for a long time, and what I had to do was in the morning time, I had to wake up 30 minutes early, and I had to kind of deal with me and get me together so that I could be in a good space, or not. Sometimes it wasn't even the best space, but I can be in a good enough space where I could raise my children and give them what they needed without lashing out on them or doing anything towards them because I just didn't feel good, or even shutting them out because I just wanted to be by myself. So allow grace and space.
and thank you for sharing, that, what you did too. I really wanted to dive into some coping skills. I know, maybe what you mentioned, getting up 30 minutes earlier was one way that helped you. Do you have any
Yeah,
other suggestions for those that are grieving right now and balancing life with their kids?
sure.
Any other
So
coping skills?
yeah, so besides getting up early and kind of just getting myself together, Another coping skill that I've learned meditation and just sitting with my thoughts and feelings. And that to some people is very hard. But for about 15 minutes each day, I kind of just sit in a silent place and I just allow whatever feeling I'm feeling to be there. And I cry. Sometimes I yell, I scream. So I do that as well as I learn how to write my thoughts and feelings out. So I jot down how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling, and then I can go back and see patterns and cycles. So those are two things that I've done to kind of cope with loss, and some would call it meditation. And because I do listen to like a soaking type of music that's very soft sometimes, and so that just allows my mind to be at rest. Sometimes as parents, especially going through with things like this, we don't allow our minds to just be still. And being able to allow your mind to be still, it allows you to think with a more clear head. So those are some things that I
I can really see the value of working with a life coach through this because I uh, I imagine it's hard to just navigate that time alone when
do.
you
Mhm.
don't even know what you should be doing and that you've got all of these skills um, at your fingertips. You know what works for you, you know what you've helped other people do, and you have kind of a process for people to follow is so
Yes.
valuable when they're probably feeling like nothing makes sense right now. So can really see how your life coaching is so valuable at this stage. Now, you know, can we talk about moving forward from grief? Like, I'm sure that your clients progress through those stages of grief, but what does moving forward look like?
So moving forward, it looks very different for a lot of different people, but it does not deny what you've been through. It does not deny your past. What it does is it embraces your past and it embraces what you've been through, and it allows you to create the life that you could only imagine or dream of. And so moving forward looks like being able to honor the spouse that you've lost, but also accept that you have a future that is still very much bright. You have a future that is still very much a future that is still very much waiting for you, and you have kids who are looking to you every day. And so, even though some people may think, "Oh, I'm moving forward and I'm just forgetting about who they were," no, it's a way to honor them even in their death, but be able to move forward and live a fulfilling life.
That was so wonderful and so helpful to those out there that are listening right now. If you've recently lost a partner or a spouse and you're trying to figure out how to balance life with kids, Tanzania is the one to work with. Tanzania, I do want to before we go today, I want to ask you one thing, and if a parent that needs you is listening right now, let's say they forget everything else you said, what is one thing you want them to walk away with?
So I would want them to walk away and know that they don't have to do life alone. I think for so many people, we face trauma and then we retreat to an inward cocoon, and we forget that it's a whole world of people out here. And I know people are people, but you don't have to do life alone. It's a community out there for everyone. And so, if I could leave them with anything, I would let them know that you don't have to do life alone. We can do life with you.
That is so beautiful. All right. If anyone is looking for support during this time, reach out to Tanzania at builtforusparenting.com. Um, when they get to your website, I just want to mention too, you offer a free 30-minute call. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then we did talk about some coping skills, but I know you have many others. So you can also get a free download and suggestions for ways to cope as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Anything I forgot to mention?
So I'll say this. We talked a little bit about my built process, and so my built process it literally just stands for begin understanding intentional living together. And so that is just what we're trying to focus on for families who are newly solo parents, that they begin understanding how to live more intentionally together. So that is what the built process is.
That is beautiful, and you can find out more about that whole process on your website at builtforusparenting.com. Thank you so much for being here, Tanzania, and I hope you join us again and share all of your goodness and just supportive words for those solo moms that are just going through this time and letting them know that they're not alone. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.